Back your play with Q on AM 1490 Sports Betting Radio.
Yep.
It's a heartache.
Yeah. Sing it, Bonnie.
Nothing but a heartache. It's you when it's too late.
And you can't run the ball.
It's a fool's game.
So, brutal loss by the Philadelphia Eagles. A waxing of epic proportions of Buffalo by Washington. I went somewhere you shouldn't go with the picks. I'm not even a contrarian when it comes to that kind of nonsense. And I said I was making my picks on Thursday, Q's picks in the 5 o'clock hour. If you guys recall, I was pretty confident I was going to have a big weekend. I wasn't confident wearing, a Beat Dallas shirt or anything like that, but I was pretty confident. We liked Washington. All right. Not bad. We liked the Titans. All right. Good. We thought the Giants were going to show up, win one for Eli. All right. Maybe the Jets make a, couple little plays, cover the number right there. All right. Good. Nothing, folks. Horrible. We'll recap in the 5 o'clock hour. All right. So we went from one squad in the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC East to a team right now that always finds a new and creative way to lose football games. And that's the New York Giants. And it pains me. It does. Trust me. It pains me as a diehard fan to watch this. Now, I try to be as objective as possible in the air. They flat out stink. And I have no problem if you blow it up. I don't. But you watch that game on Sunday, and I think a lot of you guys will agree with me. Every single lousy play, you say to yourself, I know exactly what they're going to do, what they're going to run. Because you'll watch a team for 25, 30 plus years, you kind of know. In a game where they honored Eli, where at halftime, mind you, it was a 7-6 Falcons lead, where the Giants got into the red zone, it seemed 20-something odd times in the first half and came away with 6 points. In an ugly game of football. And they had Eli's retirement. They unveiled the jersey. No one's ever going to wear number 10. It's in the rafters. Wonderful. Here you go. Next stop, Canton. They're booing Mara, which I have no problem with that. I've heard some people actually maintain and contend that, well, if they were winning the game, they're not going to boo John Mara. Are you kidding me? Have you watched this team over the last 7 years? They're pathetic. They're a laughingstock. They're a disgrace. So now, all of a sudden, you got the Atlanta Falcons coming in who had 2 games of ugly football. 2 games of ugly football with the veteran Matty Ryan and Arthur Smith. So in a game where the Giants are dominating them, flat out dominating, what do? They allow a bad team to hang around. And when you do that, more times than not, it's going to bite you in the fanny. So when you have a 11-play drive for 75 yards and you can't punch it in, you got to settle for the field goal. When you have a 12-play, 73-yard drive and you can't punch it in, you got to settle for the field goal. And if you follow the NFL, folks, you don't win with field goals. So they get the ball back to start the second half. Punt. Finally get on the board. You take the lead in the fourth. Because why? You wanted to give Saquon, let's be honest here, a sentimental touchdown. And like that, the Atlanta Falcons, who really have no offensive weapons except maybe Cordell Patterson, Ridley didn't do diddly, march right down the field against a sieve of a defense that for the 7th year in a row has no pass rush, and they punch it in. Again, watching the game, you're saying to yourself, all right, fine, you play for overtime, I get it. But no, these are the New York football Giants. These are not my Giants. These are not my father's Giants. These are not my father's Giants. These are your lousy, New York Football Giants, who once again, when you pick up a first down, can't do anything with the football. They punt it, and I'm listening to the game, and I'm saying to myself, the Atlanta Falcons will go 3 plays, and they will punch it in, or they'll kick a field goal to win it. And what happens? The Atlanta Falcons go 4 plays, 5 plays, okay? And then they kick a game-winning field goal. And they beat the Giants 17-14. You had Joe Judge, who looks absolutely clueless and overmatched, who's trying to tell the media afterwards, guys, we're going to be okay, we're going to be okay. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. You have Gettleman, for years, was preaching about the hog molly mentality in the offensive line. He's got to get out. He's got to go. And then you have the clapper, Jason Garrett, who should have been fired. Sure, at this point, what difference does it make? You're staring down the barrel of a 4-13 type of season. I mean, my God, man, you're trying to celebrate one of your all-time great legends in Eli Manning wearing that uniform. And this is how you honor him? By putting on a stinker? And I really can't, okay? I really can't sit there and say this is on the quarterback. It's not. But what's embarrassing is that you've got you've got a situation where you've got a rookie player who can't get on the field, okay? You've got a running back coming off a major injury, and yet they're trying to force feed the football, who doesn't want to take on extra tacklers, who doesn't want to pick up extra yardage. He just doesn't. He doesn't. It's not what he wants to do. He wants to run out of bounds. You've got a quarterback that's still at times under duress, but he's played well. He hasn't played great. They haven't won a game because of him. Okay? But again, you've got no pass rush. Your linebackers are weak. You lose Martinez. Your secondary, when you are a bad team and you have the ball literally right there for the taking, for an easy pick, like we saw with Jackson, like we saw with Bradbury, and you don't make those plays, bad teams typically don't know how to win. They are a bad team. They're a bad football team. And it's embarrassing to watch. And now you risk losing those generational fans. I mean, I don't care what city he is. When you play predominantly losing bad football year in and year out, like they've had, after a while, the fan base gets tired of it. There's no guts on this team. There's no guts. I mean, the analytics tell you a 3rd and short when you're on your opposition side of the ball, and in this case, a 3rd and short from the 39, folks, show some guts. Go for it. But they don't want to do that. They just don't have that killer instinct. They don't. It's embarrassing. They had a 4th and 4 from the Atlanta 39, and they elected, down 7-6, they elected to punt the football. That is no guts. That is playing scared. That's playing to not lose the game, not to win. At least when they had Gilbride and Eli back there, they were slinging it fine. Turn the ball over. I don't care. Throw the ball down the field. They don't want to do that. They want to try to force feed the ball to Saquon Barkley. It's not working out. Changes need to be made. It's not a knee-jerk reaction. In the NFL, you have to win football games. You have to be a winning franchise. You have to have the sustained type of success. I'm not saying it's got to be every single solitary year, because few franchises can do that. We're seeing it in Kansas City. We saw it for years with Pittsburgh. We saw it for so many years with the New England Patriots. It's a rarity. But can you just play 500 football? Can you win a couple lousy games? I have a head coach, and the Eagles fans will appreciate this. You want a head coach that's going to preach discipline? And yet you go out there and you have just asinine penalties after penalties after penalties. That's not winning football. That's losing football. I mean, even the Jets, both franchises, laughing stocks. It just leaves a sour taste in the fans' mouth when you've been this bad, and the reluctance, okay, to change. And I have, for the last several years, I've never been an Evan Ingram fan. Get him the hell out of town, please. Trade him. Get him out of here. I'm done. I don't need to see him anymore on the field. Get rid of him. Trade him yesterday. I mean, if there was ever a player that needed the old quote-unquote change of scenery, it's Ingram. It's Ingram. Because think about this. You're not going to bring back much, but it's better than nothing that the Giants get waiting for his contract to expire after the season. Give me a late second-round pick. Done. Sold. See ya. A late round pick. I'm good. It's run its course. This guy stinks. He's beyond an enigma. And he seems like a nice guy, a stand-up guy, a classy guy. He stinks. He's his worst enemy. Constantly dropping the football, constantly getting the ball ripped out, constantly fumbling the football. Get him out of here. You got 2 or 3 plays in a football game that determine the outcome of the game. Last year in Philadelphia, Daniel Jones puts a perfect pass in his hands to seal the game, drops it. Game against Washington, you can seal the deal. Jones to Slayton, drops it. That's what happens when you're a bad football team. And they're a bad football team. They stink. They really, really stink. It's embarrassing. I can't watch it anymore. I can't. I honestly, I don't even know what to say anymore. It's just, how do you screw up Eli Manning's jersey retirement? You have a dud. And Joe Judge, I mean, what, are you going to make me run laps? Patrick Graham, your defensive coordinator? These guys are playing 10 to 15 yards off the line of scrimmage. It's just bad, man. It's bad. This is not a, I'm not going to sit here and say it's not even panic anymore, because it's almost, you're numb to it. This ain't even crisis mode. This ain't a midlife crisis. This isn't even crossroads. It's so bad that there is no hope. There's none. There's none. Wake me when the Knicks start. Wake me when the Yankees are in the playoffs. That's how bad it is. You get the Dexter Lawrence ever so slightly offsides, right? On a missed field goal. And then they nail it. You get the drops. You get the conservative approach. Right? I mean, come on. The Washington game, you get a great play by Bradbury, and then you don't even try to go for the jugular. You got a defense that was supposed to be so much better. Nothing. You got a Kenny Golladay. By the way, you're paying $72 million over what, 3 or 4 years? Who's screaming on the sidelines. You got Kadarius Toney, the rookie receiver, who got targeted once while on the field for 19 of 69 offensive snaps. Folks, this is not football. Going into Sunday's game, they've started 0-2 in 8 of the past 9 seasons. It's bad football in New York. It was bad football last night in Dallas if you're an Eagles fan. And after a while, you get tired of it. You get tired of it. You know, I can't even, I won't bet on the Giants the rest of the way. Can't do it. I'd be a fool. Might as well take me outside and, kick me in the you-know-whats. Call it a day. See ya, Q. And you talk about crazy weekend, by the way. We're going to get into that on the other side. We'll get to some of these tweets as well before we hit the break. Joe D, chiming in. Q, I've never heard you this animated before, talking about both the Eagles and the Giants, but I agree with you 100%. They both stink. I don't think Hurts is the answer, and I certainly know Daniel Jones is not the answer with the Giants. Well, a couple things, Joe, and I always appreciate it, pal. I'm not going to tell you Hurts stinks because his head coach and the play calling did not help this kid out last night. And Jones, and I've gone on record, I am not a big-time Daniel Jones fan because his two best games as a pro, you can say the one against Washington a couple weeks ago and his first game as a rookie against Tampa Bay. The inconsistency has always been the issue. Win a couple games because of me, not in spite of me. Angel and Camden checking in online at the detail shop. All right, we appreciate that, Angel. He says, Q, you mentioned the run defense by the Philadelphia Eagles. Wasn't that supposed to be a strength going into the season? They got absolutely gashed last night. I'm watching the game with 10 of my buddies. 8 of them are Cowboys fans. I was sick to my stomach all night long. Yeah, I mean, look, I think the Graham injury is big time, right? You lost some players, but this is the NFL, man. You got to overcome. You got to adapt, next man up. I never saw a team just decide, I'm going to break your will and just literally run the ball down your throat. And that's exactly the Dallas Cowboys. I'm telling you, they could have easily rushed for 300 yards and scored 60 points last night. They could have. That's how bad it was for the Philadelphia Eagles. You're not even talking about blown assignments. See, that's fixable. That is fixable in the NFL. You can teach that. I can't teach you not to get blown off the line of scrimmage. That was extremely alarming. So when you're in the trenches, that's all about will. I want to beat my man in front of me, and that's exactly what the Dallas Cowboys did. They obliterated the Philadelphia Eagles last night in the trenches. It was a you-know-what whipping. It really was. Those numbers, those stats don't even do it justice. They don't. Because when you look at the numbers, the Dallas Cowboys outgained the Eagles by, I believe, 13 yards, which doesn't, that means nothing. They ran the football 41 times for 160 yards. The Philadelphia Eagles ran the ball 12 times for 64 yards. And they threw 39 times. There's no balance. You're not going to win in the NFL like that. 441.